see here. Only 13 starts at Stanford. That's the hard part of this, but the arm talent is absolutely there. The mobility's there. 6'5", 220 pounds. He checks a lot of the boxes from a trait standpoint. So if the Pittsburgh Steelers can't get a quarterback in round one, maybe it is a trade back, as we discussed earlier, for Davis Mills in late one or early round two. The New Orleans Saints are another team that has to figure out the quarterback position. Drew Brees retires. Do we really believe that Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill are the guys moving forward? I don't. I think Sean Payton needs to find himself a new quarterback. Kellen Mond was a 4-year starter at Texas A&M under Jimbo Fisher. He's productive. He got better every year, a 43-game starter in college. So the experience is absolutely amazing. And my goodness, the arm strength is a lot of fun. So in that Saints system, his athleticism and arm would be great. And then finally, the New England Patriots, trying to find their guy with Tom Brady now in Tampa. Cam Newton is fine for right now, but that is a Band-Aid. They need a long-term solution at the quarterback position. Kyle Trask from Florida, while not a first-rounder, is accurate. He has good enough arm strength. He has good enough mobility. And coming out of the Dan Mullen system, which is what got Dak Prescott ready for the NFL, I think he is more pro-ready than a lot of people believe. So Kyle Trask, if you miss out on the Big Five quarterbacks in New England, I think he is a viable solution for Bill Belichick, and Josh McDaniels is someone that they can draft and develop and then get onto the field.
I will actually have Dan Mullen, his college coach, on my radio show today to talk about just that. So let me turn to our resident Patriot here, and that is Rob Ninkovich. So I'm going to give you 3 possibilities, Ninko, and you tell me which you think is the likeliest that Bill Belichick will do. Option number 1, trade up to take one of the Big Five quarterbacks in this draft. Option number 2, sit tight and take one of the other names in this, again, all of whom might turn out to be outstanding players. I don't want to belittle them, but guys you don't have to move up for. Or option number 3, trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Which of those 3, Ninko, do you think is the most likely?
Well, this is going to be a mystery here. We don't know what Bill's thinking, but look, this has been a weird offseason for the Patriots. We've never seen them go out and spend the money that they have spent in free agency to go out and build this roster. So I'm going to go with the first choice. I think that they're going to try and move up and get Justin Fields, maybe somebody that is a mobile, athletic quarterback. Imagine Fields and Cam Newton together on the field for a play. You know how hard that would be for a defense to try and figure out what's going on. So when I look at the Patriots, yes, they need a quarterback. Yes, they need to figure out what the future is going to look like at quarterback. And I can envision Josh McDaniels sitting down in the cafeteria at lunch, sketching, doodling on a napkin. Wow, this would be a great play, and then looking at it and say, well, we can't run that play. We don't have a quarterback that can do it. So if he gets Justin Fields, a mobile quarterback, he's going to be like a kid in a candy store. He's going to be excited to draw up all these new plays. And in 2021, what are the quarterbacks? They're mobile. They can move, RPO, run out of the pocket, all the things that we have never seen in New England. Well, guess what? If they had a guy like Justin Fields, they can do that.
I love the take. And in a year where things that never happen seem to happen, the Patriots trading up for a quarterback, maybe it makes sense. Dan, what do people around the league that you talk to, how do they see the Patriot quarterback situation, and what do they expect to happen?
Yeah, you hear a lot of, well, Belichick doesn't like to trade up. He doesn't like to draft quarterbacks in the first round. But to Rob's point about this being an unprecedented offseason, the Patriots aren't usually picking this high, and they aren't usually looking for a quarterback. But this year is an exception. So I don't think anyone would be surprised to see if the quarterback that they want starts to slide a little bit toward them. I don't think anyone would be surprised to see Bill Belichick make a move up and get that guy. To the point of him being potentially a mobile quarterback, yes, Josh McDaniels and the Patriots had big plans for Cam Newton last year to be able to do stuff in their offense that they weren't able to do with Tom Brady. Those plans got derailed. Cam Newton got COVID. They had no receivers. They still have high hopes for being able to evolve that offense. And around a young guy that has some of those traits, it could very well be their path forward.
That is one of the most interesting teams to watch. Again, the specter of Garoppolo hovers over all of this. And Belichick's history, he's never taken a quarterback in round one. The last time the Patriots took a quarterback in round one was Drew Bledsoe. That predates Bill. Obviously, they took Brady in the 6th round, and we all saw how that turned out. In the meantime, is it possible that some of the moves that Belichick is making are motivated by his feeling some sort of pressure? Did you hear the comments of LeVar Arrington, who in his day was a terrific linebacker and is now a talk show host, and he was on FS1, and he said of Bill, quote, "That seat is warm for Bill Belichick. That might sound crazy for some people, But Bill has to have a good season. You know why? Because there were whispers. It was Tom. It was always Tom. And Belichick has to show before he gets too far away from Tom Brady leaving that it was not Tom Brady, that it was, in fact, and indeed, the system of what Bill Belichick built in New England. I like the look on the face of Graziano, but I want to start this with Ninkovich because, Ninko, you played for Bill, and what do you think? Do you believe that the seat is warm for Bill Belichick?
No, we're in New England. Come on now. It's not warm here yet. His seat isn't even remotely warm. I mean, that thing's still icy cold. Come on. Listen, Bill Belichick and the things that he has done and accomplished in New England, he could go out and have 4, 5, 6 seasons like last year, and his seat's not warm. I mean, come on. The things that Bill Belichick, the best coach to ever do it. Come on. You're not going to fire Bill Belichick. You're not going to do it. So Bill Belichick's going to be the head coach for a long time in New England, as long as he wants to. As long as he wants to coach and he still wants to be the guy, he's going to be the head coach. His seat's not hot. Come on, that's not hot at all. He's fishing. He's throwing out the lure on that one.
Graziano, you brought up an interesting question in our meeting this morning.
Yeah, Rob, how many days in a row would Bill Belichick have to walk in and punch Robert Kraft in the face before he could get fired? I mean, it's got to be 20 or 30. Like, this is LeVar. I love you, man. I do. I remember doing the radio show with you years ago. But this is nuh-uh. I mean, no. There's no hot seat for Bill Belichick in New England. He will go out on his own terms, and rightfully so, based on his accomplishments as Ninko says, a coach, a personnel guy, everything he's accomplished there. This is not. We've spent too much time on it already, quite frankly.
Correct. No.
I don't think striking ownership helps you have your job security. But anyway,
fair enough. If you were to do that, maybe we'd have to rethink it. Let me. I think calling the seat hot is the wrong way to look at it. Clearly, Bill Belichick doesn't get fired. To everything you guys just said, you couldn't be more right. But there are other ways for someone to be under pressure than just the fact that their job may be on the line, which is to say that if you're a prideful person, and I have to believe that Bill Belichick is, and there are people out there right now, rightly or wrongly, who are going to be saying, well, look at this. Maybe it really was Brady all along. Maybe it diminishes a little bit of Bill Belichick. Does that create a level of pressure? Again, I'm not talking about them firing him, but does that create a little level of pressure, Rob, that would make some sense to you?
There's always pressure. Everybody in the NFL has pressure. You have pressure to win. I mean, you're paid to win football games. It doesn't matter if you're a player, a coach, GM. If you don't win, there's going to be pressure on you. And last year was the first year that they had never won the division. Something that we had never seen in a long time in New England. So yeah, there's always going to be pressure. And I'm sure Bill is feeling that pressure last year, not having the success that they're used to and accustomed to. But I think he's confident in his abilities to get a team, to build a team. And last year, having all the things that had happened and Tom leaving and the salary cap issues and the roster the way it was set up, I think he's excited for 2021. I think he's excited with all the new faces that he has on that roster going into the draft. And I'm excited to watch it. I can't wait to see what they do. But, there's pressure on everybody. That's just the name of the game.
That's fair. Again, we have the words hot seat up there because that's what LeVar said. And so that part of it, again, I thoroughly disagree with. But the idea that there is a little added level of pressure is an interesting one. Matt, let me give you a final thought here. Go ahead, Matt.
One losing season in 20 years. I don't think there is a hot seat. And they went 7-9. It's not like they went 3-13. They barely had a losing season. So I do think there is some pressure on Bill. But like Rob said, I mean, you could go back to 2001 when they signed 23 starters in free agency or starters and high-level contributors in free agency. I think we're seeing Bill be a little bit energized by it. Now he wants to prove, just like Tom Brady wanted to prove he could win without Bill. I think Bill now wants to prove he can win without Tom. And I think that does make them, even though they have the 15th pick in the draft, they have 10 selections this year. They're one of the most interesting teams to watch and see what their strategy will be.